Hello and welcome to the Secure Remote Working mini module. My name is Rebecca and I will be taking you through the reasons we need to be concerned with remote working and how we can combat the threats we face day to day. In today's session, we will be looking at the risks associated with remote working and how to reduce the likelihood of those risks becoming an incident or a personal data breach. I'm going to show you how you can improve your network security whilst working remotely and the pitfalls of using public networks. We will also take a look at the devices you use and good security practices you can implement day to day to keep data and devices secure. So let's get started. As many of us are already aware, remote working carries extra risk compared to working in the office. Remote working risks can include reduced network security. This is because at home we are using our home network and home hub to connect to the internet. Sometimes our home networks are not as secure because strong passwords and multi-factor authentication are not applied in the same way as when we are working at the office. The same applies when we are mobile working and using networks which are not protected, like public networks. Often, we also have security software scanning the office network and endpoint devices to identify and react to anomalies. This isn't usually a feature of a home or public network, so information can be intercepted. We also faced reduced privacy. We may not be able to take business-related calls and meetings in private due to having people around us where they can hear us or overlook our screens, like at home, in a cafe, a restaurant, or even at a customer or supplier premises. Unauthorized people can include family, friends, neighbors, passers-by, and maintenance and repair workers. Often this can result in discussing confidential or sensitive data in front of unauthorized people. We also have a reduced ability to securely dispose. We may not be able to use a shredder when we're working away from the office. This can lead to potentially placing confidential or sensitive data in the general or recycling waste instead of destroying it. We also have to be concerned about the reduced security for mobile equipment. We may have to take our mobile assets out more. This is our laptops and other mobile devices, which presents more of a risk in relation to loss or theft of the asset. As I've already mentioned, our home networks aren't as secure as a business network, as software like intrusion detection systems and scanning for anomalies just isn't implemented. It's also unlikely that security features such as multi-factor authentication or web filtering is not enabled. There are ways we can make our home network more secure, and we can start with our home hub. Most of us will likely be using the standard issue home hub our internet service provider has sent to us. These come with a username and password, and usually the password is pretty short and therefore easy to crack with the password cracker. We can access our home hub by using our laptop and the IP address typed into the URL bar, or the app if your hub has one. Once you are logged in, change the password to something much longer, ideally 16 characters so that password crackers are unable to crack it. It's a good idea to also change the admin name so it's something completely unique to you. We can also set up a segregated network or a guest network, which is ideal for providing access to your children or visitors to your home. This enables you to apply parental controls to the guest network and prevents any devices connecting to the same network you are using with your work devices. There are also many of us who have purchased high-spec gaming routers or similar, and what many don't know is that these routers come with a username and password set as admin and admin. Many users are not aware of this, but many hackers are. So if you have one of these routers, it is crucial that you change the admin account name and password without delay. When logging into your home hub, you are also able to check the security features are turned on, such as firewalls and Wi-Fi encryption. Not all hubs have this, but if you do, make sure those features are turned on. You can also disable remote router access to further prevent any unwanted access to your home network. Always ensure that your router is up to date with the latest software available. You can check for software updates once you are logged in. You can also see which devices are logged onto the router, so if there are any devices you don't recognize, remove them and ensure the router password is updated. If you need to send sensitive data or special personal data while working from home, use a VPN. When out and about, it's often quite easy to connect to a public network without much thought, but there is an immense amount of risk involved in using these networks. You can find a public network almost anywhere: trains, buses, cafes, hotels. But these networks are not protected, and any sensitive or confidential information sent over the network can be at risk. Instead, if you are out and about and in need of a private connection, it's far safer to tether to your mobile phone, as this offers greater privacy. In order to work remotely, we need to use several methods of communication. Now you know all about the risks associated with home and public networks, let's talk about your devices. Most of us will be using at least a laptop or PC and a phone to conduct the requirements of our role whilst working remotely. But we also have other equipment such as USB sticks and tablets, all of which store and duplicate data. When working remotely, it is important that we keep these devices secure. So here are a few tips for ensuring security for your device. Ensure the screen lock or password is applied to the device. Encrypt sensitive data which is stored on USBs or external drives. Ensure that where the device allows, backup is enabled. Ensure that the device has the most up-to-date operating software. Nearly all device updates contain security fixes for identified vulnerabilities, so it's important that you do them straight away. Avoid leaving devices on display in vehicles when the vehicle is unattended. This shows a would-be thief that there's more to steal than just the vehicle. Where available, enable remote wipe for devices. This means that if they are lost or stolen, you can wipe all of the data from them. Only install apps from trusted sources. Downloading apps from the App or Play Store is the safest method. Apps which are downloaded outside of the trusted sources are risky and may be programmed with malware or spyware. Review application permissions before you install new apps. Untick anything you are unhappy with, such as the app posting to social media on your behalf and often without your knowledge. When using devices for conducting video meetings or taking calls, make sure you can take the call or meeting in a place where you're less likely to be overheard. Make sure you work in a way which reduces the likelihood of someone overlooking or taking pictures of your screen. Position yourself with your back to the wall, away from windows, or use a privacy shield which you can fit to your device. This prevents anyone reading your screen unless they're sat right in front of it. When working remotely, we often don't have access to the work shredder. So when disposing of printed or handwritten materials, we have to consider what is secure. If you have a shredder at home, great. Make sure you use this when disposing of your notes or other printed materials. If you don't have one at home, hang on to the materials until you are back in the office to use the shredder. Alternatively, you can use your garden incinerator to securely dispose of the materials. You must avoid using waste bins to dispose of printed or handwritten data in whole pieces, as this can easily be picked up by an unauthorized person and used for malicious or illegal purposes, which could result in an incident or a personal data breach. When it comes to your devices, it's a bit more complicated, as they need to be wiped securely, often with specialist software. This rids the machine of the saved data. If you are using company-owned devices, then it is likely that the organization has a rule to return the device to them prior to reuse or disposal, so they may carry out this process. If you're using your own device for work, then the responsibility may be on you to ensure that the device is wiped before you reuse it or dispose of it. A device which is disposed of and has not been wiped properly may still contain sensitive or personal data, which could then lead to an unauthorized person accessing it. Again, this could be deemed as an incident or a personal data breach that might be needed reporting to the ICO. So, we must ensure that all devices, including external drives, are wiped before they are sold or disposed of to prevent those incidents and breaches. That brings us to the end of this mini module. Remember, even implementing the smallest of changes can make big differences and reduce risk in the areas it's most needed. Thank you for your time in watching this training course. If you enjoyed it, there are more available, free of charge. Just head over to our website to find out more.